this one area, the entropic brain hypothesis. So this is a paper you published in 2014. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was looking into it, and there's just so much to talk about on that front. And, this idea that mental health disorders are often associated with this hyper order or hyper, rigid thought patterns of past, future, whether it's I'm unworthy, I can't find love in my life, there's no purpose to life, I'm sad, I'm lonely, I can't make friends. You're stuck in these loops, whether it's OCD, PTSD, depression, addiction, anxiety, etc. And so it's interesting how psychedelics can introduce this entropy, this chaos, can, as we said, help create new connections, can just shake things up enough so that you're looking at things from a new perspective instead of that rigid perspective. And seeing this in my own psychotherapy work of certain narratives I've been telling myself since kindergarten of toxic notions of self that I've had, which I've recognized are impacting my relationship life. And there's an orderliness there. And so it's really an illuminating, beautiful way of looking at psychedelics, that you're introducing this entropy, which I've experienced on MDMA, where it's like I'm thinking about things this one way, but then on the MDMA, it's like, wait, is that really true? Is that really how I want to think about things? What if I think about things in a different way that aligns with your model of introducing this chaos or disorder in a healthy sense to create new order and to create new patterns and new narratives?
Entropy means uncertainty and unpredictability. If we flip it on its head, what's a thing of low entropy? Well, that thing is regular, it's predictable. We can say it's precise. And the dynamics, the biological dynamics that mirror that predictability, precision, are regular. If we want to put it into subjective terms, predictability gives us confidence. Unpredictability causes us uncertainty. When, even though this might seem paradoxical, in psychopathology, whether it's an addiction, OCD, PTSD, a phobia, anorexia, body dysmorphic disorder, even a delusion in a psychotic disorder, delusions, illusions in depression, negative cognitive biases, they're all habits where we've imbued a thing, a feeling, a thought, or a behavior with too much weight. We've overweighted it. We've made it too precise. And that I know that might feel funny for people to think that there's a confidence in my way of being. Well, in a sense, yeah, because you really believe that you're a worthless piece of shit, say, and
right, so or that finding love is impossible. Finding that's a common.
Yeah, there you go. And they believe it absolutely. You ask them to rate that 0 to 100, which we do, by the way.
Oh wow!
You ask people to rate their, pathological beliefs, and they'll rate it super high. You ask people to rate, belief in anorexia, like I need my anorexia. It gives me value in life. They'll rate it, really high.
Wow.
So yeah, these beliefs, you find that they're really at the core of things. In fact, we've seen in studies that they're more sensitive to change than core symptomatology itself. Like you'd call it an ego-syntonic belief in anorexia, a belief about how the anorexia serves you. Like, it makes me thin. Thin's great. That is weighted and rated way too high, way too much in the anorexia, won't shift after placebo. Symptom severity might shift after placebo with a bunch of talking therapy, but that core belief doesn't. And then you give them psilocybin, it falls off a cliff, and they're like, why did I believe that thing?
Wow.
Obviously, the anorexia is making me sick and unhealthy. So it's amazing in that sense. It seems to really kind of
That's beautiful.
Yeah, And the jargon is canalization. I call it the canalization model of psychopathology. That's a bunch of
Right.
jargon for saying you
Yeah.
get stuck in ruts in mental
Yeah.
illnesses.
You talked about that with Jordan Peterson at length.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and that goes back to Henri Bergson canalization. So I didn't realize that until very recently, actually. But a canal, which was the analogy, is like a rut that you cut into the earth for water to flow in. That water will flow in just one dimension, forwards or back. So it doesn't have much freedom. If you had a flat plane, that water could move everywhere. So that's kind of the analogy. It's constraining freedom. It is cutting a path that then causes some degree of predetermination, coming back to free will versus determinism. In a sense, you do lose free will, rather. You lose free will in psychopathology. You become enslaved or possessed by the illness.